looks good, what you sent.
Okay. Welcome back to House Healthcare. We are now moving back to S89. And we have posted the proposals that we're discussing that we might offer to House Judiciary on S89. And again, these are not necessarily we're going to talk about each of them and then we'll give them to Katie to actually put into the language. So is everyone on the document? It has the yellow and the purple.
Yeah.
One pager.
Yes. The one pager, yep, says HAC proposals to HJ at the top.
Yep.
Okay, so we talked about the first one. We're going to add clinical to section 2.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the section 3, the second bullet. We're going to just make it say safety factors, including. We're going to recommend that we remove, this is not on there, remove with a child, but I'll talk to judiciary and explain, why, and they might have a different recommendation. And then now we're on section 23. So Mari, I'm going to turn back to you because you worked with Katie on the language change.
And Katie captured what I was getting at, to be able to evaluate facility compliance with the requirement for discharge notification and get a little more information beyond that.
So is everyone okay with that?
What does that tell us, Mari? What is that? What will that report?
So there are cases where discharge notification was not provided. So we need to know how often that's happening, and then when they come back with the report and this information, we might be able to address that with policy.
So somebody's being discharged and we're not, and someone.
There are cases where, yes, the notification didn't go out.
Out to the community, you mean?
To the prosecuting attorney or the state's attorney.
And the victim.
Yeah.
But isn't that because we never had it in statute until 2022?
I don't know.
I think that's why we had the victim notification bill in 2021.
Is that procedural or, yeah?
So we can ask Katie that when we have her here.
I don't mind it, but I'm wondering, yeah.
So I will say this. Is anyone against it, having it in? We can get clarification from Katie at some point, whether or not she thinks we need it, but it's one other piece of data. They're already doing a report and collecting data. It's not, it's not just one thing that they're collecting.
Except it would be the state's attorney's office collecting it, probably not DMH. So it would be a different, coordinating with a different office potentially. But I'm pretty sure there's a mechanism already in statute for it, I think. I mean, we're going to check with Katie, but I'm pretty sure because the victim notification bill fixed that.
The DMH is the one that sends it to the state's attorney. So they would be able to give data on whether or not, oops, we forgot to send it, or oops, we sent it one day before we discharged the person.
And do they know that the facility might not have
Received it.
or might not have included all?
Yeah.
So I think there's some questions around it, which is fine. I also think it's fine that it's in there for now, as long as no one's against it. And then when Katie comes forward with the final language, we're talking about the addition to the report that Mari wanted. All right. So that takes care of everything that's on there. And then the only other thing I had was about the certificate of need. So if you remember, we have it, or the language right now has it in that certificate of need would be waived for any forensic facility. So I sent everyone an email. So Susan Barrett from the Green Mountain Care Board was here with us all morning and she listened, and she came back and sent us an email, which I'll have posted. I don't yet. I apologize. It says, thank you for asking us to comment on S89 and specifically the section regarding exemption from certificate of need. The Green Mountain Care Board supports exempting the initial forensic facility, which would be this one, located in the 9-bed unit of current Vermont psychiatric care hospital from CON review. We do not support amending the statute to exclude all future forensic facilities supervised and operated by the Commissioner of DMH, the Commissioner of Dale, or both from CON review.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Good about
I agree with that.
Okay, so we can ask Katie to draft some language changing that section to just for this one. All right, so that was everything I had on my list. What other concerns, comments? Before we leave, I want to have some type of vibe check of where we are on this, since I was completely off on the vibe check on S47.
Instead of a straw poll, you could use like a different measure, like if people are supporting it, they like go like this, and if they're in the middle, they go like this, and if they're against it, they go like this, and then you could look around.
And then you have to add them all together and see how many you had like this.
And divide by
some like
10.
this.
Well, we're not voting, it's more, it's a check, it's an assessment, it's an assessment
Why don't we
tool.
just use our words and tell me what everyone's assessment is on this?
Which one now?
We're just the general, S89 in general, the bill.
With the changes, I'm
With the
okay.
changes.
I'm okay.
The change is okay, with the change is okay.
I'm trying to read it, my computer's giving me.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm okay with it. In everything, it worries me about the Medicaid thing.
Right,
That worries me because if that came back and we ended up having to foot the bill for
right,
that.
but remember, if they're in the criminal justice system, we're footing the bill today.
No, I understand that.
If putting this 9 units, if changing it to this affects the 16,
That's what.
they will have to come, the administration will have to come back to us because then that's a budgetary
I
need.
feel good then.
I feel good with our part, mental health. I don't understand, because it's not the mental, right, folks that they're doing that. So with that said, I totally support, very. Fine, I'm gonna give you a.
I know,
Bobby, where are you?
there's,
I'm okay with it, with the changes we just proposed, especially the certificate of need thing. I think that doesn't make sense to get all of them carte blanche. Hey, there we go.
email does this thing sometimes where the legislative email freezes my computer. And so when I try to read a document, but it's working now.
Okay.
That's what was going, that's why I was like. Oh, we're doing public safety?
No, we're doing safety. This hasn't changed. The
Am I
only
looking-
change is the last.
Am I looking at the wrong thing?
No, this was sent earlier before we changed to safety.
Yeah,
Oh.
Katie hasn't changed any of our suggestions, so,
Oh, I see, okay.
yeah. So in theory, how do you feel about this?
In theory, I'm okay with the direction. Oh God, it's doing it again.
Use
Okay.
my computer.
Huh?
Use mine if you want.
No, it's fine now. It's something with
Okay,
legislative email.
so, Brian, are you comfortable if we do a straw poll?
Oh, we're moving beyond a vibe check to a straw poll.
We are. We'll do another one, but I want to do a straw poll.
What is the definition of a straw poll? I'm just kidding. I'm okay with doing one.
Okay. Oh, Katie, you're just about to do a straw poll.
I need a sound effect.
Can you,
Let's do that.
I'm gonna give you a second to get situated. I do want to walk through the changes since you're here.
What are we looking at?
We're looking at S89.
Okay,
Give her a chance to breathe.
S47 will have an offline conversation.
Okay, so that's just the pink document that I had?
The one that you just sent, yeah. So when you're ready, let me know. And do you want to join us up here? You don't have to sit over there.
What about you, some ice cream?
Which one would you, 3-2, right?
No, we're not. 47.
Oh, I did, sorry. I'm supposed to make something.
I've been trying to divide them in half, so there's as much to carry.
See.
I'm trying to determine the root of the word straw poll.
Okay, so
Fun one.
I think they actually used to use.
I was gonna say, isn't it?
Pieces of straw. Nobody did.
Okay.
That doesn't make any
Nice to
sense.
get ready.
Okay, I'm logging in.
You know the word ostracized? From ostraca, these pieces of broken pottery that they used to write their votes on. And if they banished you, it would be based on counting the ostraca. That's where ostracized comes from.
Can you find out where straw poll comes from next?
Straw poll is an old
Let's just remember
saying.
we're still on air. I just wanna.
I know, we're using, what we
You
use,
pick the straw and the longer straw.
but that's drawing straws, that's different than a straw poll. A straw poll is an
That's the root of straw.
I wanna know definitively.
Huh? That's the.
A straw poll is an informal public opinion survey used primarily to determine the viability of a. The phrase straw poll has its origin in the idea of straws in the wind, which were used to determine the direction of the wind.
See, now that makes much more sense to me.
It's a straw poll.
Okay, let's refocus. Thank you.
I'm good,
Alyssa.
Fugler.
All right, Katie's
Okay.
ready.
Yeah,
All right, so I'm gonna walk you through what we decided. Great. All right, so section 2, the first bullet, clinical is what we want.
Okay.
Section 3, we would like to change it to just safety factors.
Okay.
is there any problem with that?
I'm gonna ask Karen in a minute. Karen
Oh,
Parker's
sorry.
still with us, so, no, it's okay. And then wait, stay on section 3. So one of the things that wasn't captured was we want to remove with a child from the lewd and lascivious.
There was I noticed something kind of funny about that. It's what happens before the or on that phrase.
I need to get my file.
Yeah. So, all right.
Hold on.
I'm afraid that if you take away with a child, the other part is sexual activity, which makes it sound like you can get in trouble just for having sexual activity, right?
Well,
All right, so hold on, let's,
It's just a funny grammatical thing. No, but the sexual conduct or lewd and lascivious activity. So all of a sudden you're gonna make it so that sexual conduct is banned or the Puritans or something. All of a sudden.
okay, so let's, hold on. That's something we need to look at.
Vermont get to go through.
Okay, let's.
it's
Okay.
hard at this point.
Do you want to say something like with a child or vulnerable person?
I think the question was, does it matter who it's with? If somebody's engaging in repeated lewd and lascivious or whatever activity to the point that it's determined they need a forensic facility, it shouldn't matter who they're doing with. It could be, but we weren't sure if that's the case, but it seemed like if,
So what if we change with a child? So an act that would constitute sexual conduct with a child or lewd and lascivious conduct.
Yeah, I think
that work?
it clears up the problem. Because you see what I'm saying, that we
Yeah.
take away with a child,
Yeah,
all sexual activity is banned. Including.
Elsewhere in the bill, it says, which I don't think we reviewed this part, but it does say, has inflicted or attempted to inflict serious bodily injury to another, or who has committed an act that would constitute a sexual assault or lewd and lascivious conduct with a child. Why don't we just use that?
all right, hold on, let Katie get to where we are. Hold on, let's just wait a minute. What section are you in?
I don't know, I have no idea, I'm just doing a little search for lewd and that was the third one that came up in the document.
Was it under the jail section? So I think, actually, I don't think we need to find the language right now, but I think the point is we want lewd and lascivious behavior to apply to everyone, not just a child. Is that?
Like you say though, Lori, unless in
Martinez Dale.
judiciary language, that's, unless in judiciary language,
Right, unless judiciary has a problem with it.
you know, the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah. I will talk to them, and Katie can talk to them. So the what Alyssa just mentioned was actually in the Dale section, and that's probably coming out. So
Okay.
it's just the section. free.
Can I just make a comment?
It depends.
I mean, I know nothing about judiciary, and I'm sure judiciary is gonna change this all around, but can't you get charged with lewd and lascivious conduct for even sort of minor things?
Exposing yourself.
Or like urinating in public or something? Isn't that usually what they charge? Do we really wanna like go?
But you would have to do it in a way that.
Yes, repeatedly.
Yeah, according to this, it would have to be at a pathological level. I don't know if that's the right way to
Or
put it.
I just like the sexual assault part, anything that would constitute sexual assault.
Yeah.
But if someone decides they're gonna urinate in front of school children every single day because of a mental illness and they get, instead of being in jail, if they need a forensic facility, then they should be able to go to the forensic facility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally understand, but I think that's why they have the child in there.
It carries a more severe punishment.
Yeah. So we're gonna bring our suggestion forth and we'll let judiciary make the decision on that one.
Okay.
The clinical one, perfectly fine. Judiciary is fine with that. Katie, let me know when you're ready to.
Yeah, so what I have is, an act that would constitute sexual assault, sexual conduct with a child, or lewd and lascivious conduct.
Then underneath it says
I like
repeat.
that.
Yeah.
What page is it on?
Or section C2A.
Thank you.
All right. And then on section 23, you added the new language from Mari about the data. We did have a question though. So Mari was concerned that this notification wasn't happening. And then Daisy thought maybe that the law changed in 2022 that now requires the notification.
Oh, that's the section, S3, yeah.
Looking at it right now.
Let's see. What was the act number? Okay, I'll just search the phone number. 57.
57, yeah.
Well, there's already language in 13, VSA 4822, that at least 10 days prior to a proposed discharge of any person committed under this section, notwithstanding, the Commissioner of Health shall give notice of the discharge to the committing court and the state's attorney in the county where the prosecution originated. So that's in Title 13.
Mr. Mental.
Yeah. So the hearing. Also in 13, subdivision 2 shall clarify a person is committed. When a person has been committed under this section, the commissioner shall provide notice to the state's attorney of the county where the prosecution originated, or the office of the attorney general if that office prosecuted the case, at least 10 days prior to discharging the person from care and custody of the commissioner or a hospital or secure residential recovery facility to the community on an order of non-hospitalization, at least 10 days prior to the expiration of a commitment order issued under this section, if the commissioner does not seek continued treatment, or any time that the person elopes from the custody of the commissioner. The state's attorney or attorney general receives notice, the office shall provide notice of the action to any victim of the offense for which the person has been charged who has not opted out of receiving notice. So that's all in Title 13. So I'm thinking that in S89, we're trying to have sort of a parallel concept for individuals in a proceeding under 18 versus 13. That's a question for Karen.
Karen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here and happy to answer. So Daisy is correct. this changed back with Act 57 in 2021 that there was some notice requirements added. I know of no instance where the department hasn't given notice, nor that anyone has contacted us to express concern about a notice. If you have certain cases, people are always free to talk to us about that. But yes, the idea with this was to build a parallel process based on the language that was passed in Act 57 for the forensic facility.
One thing that's not in 47 or 89 though is if someone elopes. I don't think that language is in here
Oh,
from the commissioner's custody.
we wouldn't object to adding that.
I'm just feeling like 5 is just not necessary now.
Okay.
So take out the addition to the to the data, but add in the elopement.
Okay, so
Makes sense.
yes and no. So you're not studying elopement, you're actually adding it to the reporting requirements. So we have no changes to section 23, right?
Correct.
Okay. And
Thanks, Karen.
so you're adding,
I'm listening. My Siri reacted to something someone said, sorry. I don't like that. That was weird. Unless I hit a button, that was weird.
So what is can you explain the elopement piece, Daisy,
So if they're in the custody of the commissioner and the individual is, for whatever circumstance, off the radar of the commissioner.
Okay.
That would be elopement. Karen, is there anything that you would add?
No, that's correct. I will just add that there is, right, that's for kind of a smaller population in terms of if someone hasn't come in through the criminal door, or even if they have, there is the duty to warn. I don't know if you also remember a few years ago, there was the Kulagowski decision, and we worked with a big group of stakeholders to kind of clarify that in statute. So if there does pose a risk of serious and imminent harm to an identifiable victim, we already have an obligation to do a duty to warn to potential victims. But yes, the language around elopement is if someone somehow gets out of the facility. Very, very rare. We've never had someone elope from VPCH. We have had a couple at Brattleboro, but they've been returned quickly. And we did have a few at MTCR several years ago, but not since we changed the fence. So it is pretty rare, but it can happen. Is that
so,
Yes, thank you, Karen.
the section, that you're thinking about in S89, it's a specific section on discharge from a forensic facility. So it seems like sort of a strange place to put the concept of elopement, because you would sort of be saying if the person is going to be discharged from a facility, from the forensic facility, or has eloped from the facility, or more generally, there's a section specific on elopement somewhere in Title 18. I wonder if that's a better place to put it, that you want notice. Because otherwise you're putting it in a section specific to discharging from a forensic.
Right, and if it's already in 13, which covers victim notification.
Does.
But does that cover the population of individuals who'd be in the forensic facility?
Yes.
It's a new.
I think it would. I'll ask Karen to confirm. Let me pull that section. I mean.
the Senate, they ask us to keep our cameras off unless we're testifying, which is why I keep turning mine off and having it on if you want, but
Totally up to you.
okay, kind of due decorum. Yes, it would apply to the same population.
Yeah, sorry, I'm late to looking at this, but in the Title 13, it's persons not guilty by reason of insanity or incompetent to stand trial. So that's our same population with the forensic facility.
So we don't need to add it because it's already covered in a different place.
And this is ONH.
This is
for OH.
I don't think it's, well, let me see. Notwithstanding discharge a person committed under this section, what section? Order. So I don't think it's specific to OH or ONH, it's just commitment, which would be, in my opinion, cover both.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's nodding behind you. Just
Oh, good.
You're welcome. All right, so we're comfortable that it's covered elsewhere. We don't need to add it in here. Okay, Daisy gave me a thumbs up. Okay, so then the other, actually Karen, before I go on, so we're recommending that we change dangerousness to safety factors. You
Yep,
comfortable with
that's
that?
fine with you, Mage.
Okay, okay, great. So then the other thing, Katie, that's not captured on here in our final thing, is that we want to change the language around the certificate of need. That we, are fine with not requiring it for specific to this facility, the 9-bed unit of the current Vermont Psychiatric Care Hospital. But we do not support amending it for all potential future forensic facilities.
So you want session law, you want to strike out section 20. So you know, by striking,
Karen, I know you're probably not thrilled with that, so did you want to provide a comment?
We're okay with that language.
Okay, great. Well, we have to say that it's okay for the current bed.
Yeah.
So while Katie's doing that, we were getting to the point of a straw poll. So I just want to, everyone is comfortable with where we're going. I'd like to be able to tell judiciary that this is, where we are. We will make sure that we review the language before, if people want to review the language, I'll make sure that it happens. If everyone's comfortable, that's fine too. And then it will be in judiciary's hands from there. All right.
Just one quick question we haven't discussed, it's really not our purview, but it deserves some talk, is what's the cost of this? What's the cost to set this up, if any?
Karen?
Great question. So right now, we don't anticipate any extra costs. We are already kind of paying for those beds anyway, and with the staff. So there's no fiscal note right now attached to it.
Nothing to do with extra doors or extra walls that have to be, no, okay, great.
No, so I don't know if you probably
I've
haven't
never been there, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2 wings and each wing
Okay.
has 2 units. And so they're really already by themselves. So
Wonderful.
it worked out nicely. There are 2 yards. During COVID, we actually moved the residents of Middlesex into VPCH for a while because of staffing issues. So we have already had kind of 2 different kinds of populations in there and just kind of manage the space.
Would it be fair to say that this is like a realignment of resources versus new spending?
Yes, I think that's a great way to say it.
All right, thank you.
And I'm just going to ask this because I know we've asked it, but while Katie's working, is there a concern that we are taking 9 beds away from the psychiatric care unit?
That's a great question. No, and if you'll let me give you the 2-minute reason why.
Yep.
So we already have some people in our facility that we think would probably move. We also, I think the thing to remember about VPCH is it's level 1, so it's the highest acuity. So you hear a lot about people waiting in emergency departments. Most of those people are not eligible to go to VPCH because it's only for involuntaries and it's only for people who meet that high level of care. River Valley is also about to go online probably in another couple of weeks or so. So we more than double the capacity there, which we also think will help move people out of our inpatient units. So we actually think it will help increase the flow. Also, those 25 beds, we haven't been operating at 25 beds really since COVID because of staffing. So we're up to, I think, 20 right now. I didn't check this morning, but so the full beds haven't been used really in a while anyway.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the changes that we've made that we'll recommend to judiciary, who's in favor of S89? Is everyone? 10-0-1. Right? Is everyone? No, we don't have that.
Oh, that's the straws all blowing the same way.
Right. All right, so I really appreciate everyone. I know the last couple weeks with some of these going back and forth, it's been a little chaotic. I appreciate it. We'll check in with Martin. We'll come back Tuesday. Hopefully, if not Wednesday on S47, if I talk to Katie. And we can go offline.